can I improve my relationship by working on my health? And what I mean by that is sometimes people feel like their marriage
Mhm.
is being ruined because of the symptoms that they're feeling with menopause. Relationships are
Mhm.
being very fractured.
Yeah.
What things, I mean, I guess you kind of answered it,
Mhm.
things can I do that can help my health that then can lead to hopefully improving relationships?
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you as always for joining me, my friends. Okay, today we're going to do one of our RFV, Rapid Fire of Value episodes. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it, Rapid Fire of Value.
Okay.
And so this is, an episode. And by the way, this has been so good for me to do because I'm in my own little world, right, of helping y'all and helping healthcare providers serve their communities. But the people that I'm serving actually know some stuff, right? And I want them to give value on the audiences that they serve. So, Jeanette Harris, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you
And
very much.
can we talk about, the group of people that you're wanting to now serve in a different way
Mhm.
than just treating patients on a daily basis? Can we talk about that group of people that you are trying to help?
Well, I want to work with women who are middle age and are going through menopause or the symptoms of menopause. What I've learned, there's over like 40 symptoms of menopause, but some of the biggest ones are weight gain, hot flashes, low energy, and insomnia. And so I've had experience in all of those personally, and as well as hair loss. That's another huge one. Um, those are the women that I want to serve because the middle aging is kind of an interesting transition. You're in the middle. You're not the young and hot, and you're not the old and whatever, and not no disrespect to either age group.
Right.
You're just in the
It's just in
middle.
the middle.
But you're that sandwich generation woman. You're probably either taking care of still maybe some kids or grandkids, and you're probably caring for, you know, senior parents or whatever. And you're dealing with your life issues, the transitioning, all the changes that are happening with your body. And then sometimes you just feel left out, confused, not heard, um, and not in really just not understanding like what the heck is happening. You're not crazy, but you feel crazy.
Yeah, you're dealing with middle pause.
Middle. Yeah.
Middle pause, not
Yeah.
menopause. It's
Yes.
it's middle pause.
Yep.
Because see,
Yeah.
I'm a middle child,
Yeah.
and as a middle child, you sometimes feel like um nobody's paying attention to you,
Right.
you know, and you're just in the middle.
Hmm.
And the middle is supposed to be it should be if taken care of properly,
Hmm.
should be one of the best times to be in.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Wow. Wait a minute. I think I got something for your business. Middle pause.
Middle pause. I like it.
Middle pause. And middle pause, you're just in the middle. But now I can tell you this as a middle child,
Mhm.
because I'm a middle child.
Yeah.
A lot of middle children struggle being in the middle because they feel like nobody gets them
Hmm.
because it's either we're supposed to celebrate you in the beginning or celebrate you at the end, right? But in the middle, one of the beautiful things is if you can find your way, you realize that you got the best of both worlds
Hmm.
because you got someone that you can learn from their path,
Look up to.
right?
Yep.
And then you also have someone that you can help pave
And
the
guide.
path for.
Yep.
And so, yeah, you got the middle pause community. Ooh, I love that.
I
Okay.
like that too. I just
Yeah.
might have to run with
Yeah,
that.
you might have to.
Yeah, that's
That just
beautiful.
well, it was beautiful because you gave a beautiful explanation of how a lot of women feel being in that menopause phase. They just feel like they're in the middle of their life and they're almost dealing with mid-life crisis, middle life crisis, and
Yep.
my body is doing different things in the middle of my life and I don't know how to navigate through that. And so
Mhm.
can I ask you some questions
Yeah, sure.
of things that, and I have people that are very near and dear to me that are struggling with a lot of the things I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
And so I'm asking this to you, not just to help on a selfish level, it's to help
Mm-hmm.
people that I would love to have help with this, that are struggling with these things. Um, but it's also, I think there might be people listening to the podcast that could get help with these things as well. So here's the first thing. Uh, why why is it that the people that I love that are struggling with menopause say that they feel constantly tired, and they don't feel like they ever can get a full night's sleep? Like, what is something you would just tell them?
Well, a lot of times the fatigue is coming from just really your hormones. It's a lot of hormonal dysregulation.
Okay.
Um, your estrogen is waning, your progesterone is either you have too much or too little.
Right.
Testosterone, we're supposed to have some of that. That's not acting right either. Everybody's doing their own thing. Um,
So it's estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone,
mhm.
and they're basically out of whack in some way.
Out of whack in some way.
Okay.
It could either be, one or all of those. And so first of all, finding out, probably doing some testing and getting, see what your hormonal levels are
Okay.
at that point. And then however you want to, try to regulate that either through a more natural approach. There's a lot of foods that support either estrogen or progesterone or testosterone. So if you want to do that right, some people like to do the hormone replacement therapy route. And as you start to, go down the avenue that you want, that is one way to start regulating your sleep, or getting your energy. Other things, set your room up for sleeping, uh, at nighttime. I'm guilty of it because I like to have the TV on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that blue light really can be a disruptor. So if you can, if you gotta have the TV on, one of my suggestions that really works well for me are having like the mask, the sleep mask, to darken the room and
Right.
keep the room as dark as possible and try not to eat and drink, a few hours before going to bed. So, simple things like that. And also establish a sleep routine.
Gotcha.
Some people just like to be all over the place, but your body works on these circadian rhythms. So, that's why when the goes down, our melatonin starts to naturally increase.
Right.
So we can start to wind it down. But if we're like drinking coffee and all this other stuff and trying to crank out,
Throws everything off.
it throws everything off. So yeah. So kind of look at what you're doing and seeing if you can make one or two changes. Because it's also hard for people to try to change everything at once. Because
Right.
then they just, if they're struggling, then they're like, oh, this isn't working, and then just quit. But just pick one or two things that you can start off changing. Maybe it's like, you know, put the room cooler or turn the TV off an hour before and be consistent with that and see how that works for you. And then, continue to implement things. So those would be my suggestion. Those are things that I have done that have helped me as well.
Okay. Another big thing
Hmm.
that she's mentioned to me is joint pain. So not understanding, like, I have this joint pain. I don't know what's causing it. And how can I relieve it? I know that can go in so many different directions, but kind of a brief, like, quick understanding of how joint pain has to menopause.
Yeah, all of that. And again, it's our hormones because they do so much with help regulating the other systems in our body. So again, if our hormonal levels are off, that can lead to more inflammation in the body. And I believe it's more so if your estrogen levels are like really high. Um, things that can drive a lot of high estrogen is like sugar. Sugar the devil. Sugar's so good.
Well, we
Sugar.
love it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is the deadliest time of the year
Mhm.
because from October to January,
Yeah,
sugar,
got
sugar,
all
sugar.
that, yeah.
So everybody might be hormonal by December 31st at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so just when we have a lot of high sugary contents, processed foods and things, those things drive up your inflammatory markers in the body.
Gotcha.
So trying to work again on regulating, trying not to eat so much processed food, fried foods, things like that. Sometimes salt can also be a big irritant if you're doing too much salt. So it's not always the sugary things, it's the salty things as well. But looking at those things, also hydrating. I'm guilty. Telling you all the things that I'm guilty of. I'm trying to be better at.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
but drinking, getting proper hydration. So, we're over 70% water. So if we don't have enough fluid, you think about a car, if or a door, if it's not lubricate, it's gonna squeak and crack.
Right.
Same thing with our joints in our body. If we don't have enough, hydration, that's gonna happen as well. So you don't always have to get it all from water. There's different camps that argue, yes, it got to all be water. Some people just hate water. They don't like water. So what do you do? But you got to get your fluid in. So I'm of the mindset, eat your water. Eat foods that are high in water content.
Okay. Okay.
Watermelon, cucumbers, all the melon family is very high.
Right.
Like cucumbers and watermelon, they have they're like 92 to 98% water.
Right.
So, those are ways that you can increase that intake if you don't like water, or you can put lemon or, other fruits and things in it.
Of all the things that you just said, you gave so many good recommendations. Would you say that pretty much all of those things would also help with moodiness? Because there are people that have told me that they feel a lot more moodier.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Is that pretty much also the solution for that? And what else do you know with regards to menopause and moodiness?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In my feelings,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
your hormones ain't right either.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Yes. So again, when you're having that proper hydration, you have that decrease in that joint pain, tension headaches, things like that. The brain fog. So again, um, a lot of these problems can be solved nutritionally by what we eat and how we're eating. Um, and then some of the environmental pieces as well, like I had mentioned earlier, setting your room up for sleeping, and it should be just for sleeping or other activities. But for all the adults in
Yeah.
the room,
Mhm.
grown folk.
Yeah.
But anywho, so those kind of things. Again, people underestimate the importance of vitamin D, which is not really a vitamin, it's a hormone.
Right.
And vitamin D does so much. One of the things it does help regulate is inflammation, sleep,
Mm-hmm.
mood. So getting out in the sun, make it a habit. I'm not a fan of sunscreen,
Right.
but people do your research on that. But I feel like if I'm trying to get this hormone, I don't want to block it. I'm not going to be out there all day worshiping the sun. So if you spend at least 20 to 40 minutes, if you're a darker melanation, you're going to need a little bit more time out in the sun, during its peak hours, so between 12 and 2,
Right.
consistently, you're going to get enough exposure of vitamin D to help try to regulate those systems.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. Uh, can I improve my relationship by working on my health? And what I mean by that is sometimes people feel like their marriage
Mhm.
is being ruined because of the symptoms that they're feeling with menopause. Relationships are being very fractured.
Yeah.
What things, I mean, I guess you kind of answered it.
Mhm.
Things can I do that can help my health that then can lead to hopefully improving relationships?
Mhm. Um, I would say the first thing would really to have a conversation with your partner and, Communication is definitely key. Sharing with them what you're experiencing. Um, so, you can have a conversation about it and then come up with a plan. And maybe you're over here trying to figure out stuff all by yourself. But if you're just talking to your partner so that he or she has an understanding what's going on with you, um, they may can help you come up with a solution together. And so communication, I feel, is very important, in that regard. And it may also be a joint approach when you bring your partner in. They're like, okay, well, I can help you. Well, maybe we need to make some changes together.
Right.
Because it's one of the things is hard if you're over here and you're wanting to make change, but then you don't have a person that's supporting you. They're kind of like almost counter productive or, sabotaging and either intentionally or unintentionally. So I really feel like you need to have that communication and then, start to gain the knowledge to, make the changes that you want to make.
Okay. You've talked about a lot of different changes. Uh, and I know that there are some people that are saying, I want to be able to do this, but I'm so busy with my schedule. So, how can people find time to make changes with their busy schedule?
That's an excellent question. So I have a great business coach that always talks about 168, which I knew 168 meant 168 hours in a week. It's related to some other things too. I also have another business coach friend. She always talks about 1440. You have 1440 minutes in a day, but I like 168. So we got 168 hours in the week that we got to do everything for ourselves and everybody else.
Right.
You have to make time for yourself. And we're so good at taking care of everybody else but ourselves.
Right.
But you can't give from an empty cup. You can't give from an empty well. You got to put the mask on yourself first before you try to save the baby if you're on the plane.
Right.
So making yourself a priority. And I know that's hard for a lot of women because they feel like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. Da, 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 da. But you got to take care of yourself first. And really get in your mind, I gotta take care of me so I can do all of these other things.
Right.
And again, I do feel like just making 1 or 2 simple changes that you can be consistent at and then start to add in things. Because we all say, "Oh," or I'll say, "Imma start this diet Monday, and I'm gonna, do da 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 da, whatever." And by Tuesday night
Right. Right. Yeah.
I done ate a whole package of Ho-Hos and a half a gallon of ice cream and whatever else that's handy. So you have to, number one, set yourself up for success. Come up with a plan, um, structure it out, and then plan 1 or 2 things that I'm going to change for this week, and track your progress. Give yourself some grace
Right.
if you don't meet your goal, but then get back on the horse again and just keep doing it till you are consistent. And then you just add another piece and another piece. And next thing you know, you're over here and you're not where you were,
Right.
but you're on your way.
Right.
If that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
No,
Yeah.
that makes sense. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna, since you brought up the whole yo-yos, I'm gonna bring up yo-yo dieting.
Woo, Lord.
Um,
Yes. Ping pong.
so many of the solutions that you have recommended, a lot of it involves food,
Mm-hmm.
and people find it, whether you're dealing with menopause or not, find it really hard to break out of the yo-yo dieting cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to give one piece of advice to how do I break out of this? How do I make this consistent? What would you say?
And that's a hard one because I, having gone through this several times and going through this again myself, even now, if I'm going to be honest, I feel like you have to have a why.
Mm-hmm.
Know your why.
Yeah.
why do I want to lose weight? Is it, for an event that's coming up, or is it to be healthy? Is it to get off of, mess? Know your why. Um, Again, come up with the plan to move in that direction. Okay, say for example, you your A1C may have been high and now you're pre-diabetic, and the doctor, their solution is to put you on Ozempic, metformin, whatever, blah blah blah. But you don't want to do any of that. But you're scared out of your freaking mind that I'm gonna be diabetic.
Right.
I'm diabetical.
Yeah.
Um,
Diabetical. I like that. I like
Diabetes.
Yeah.
No, no, no. So you you may have gone through the process where you conquered that before. You might have been in that situation and you changed it through your food and your exercise and all that. And now you've life happened, you got off your eating plan, and now your weight's back up, and now your A1C's tripping again. I think you have to go back to your why. You know, do I want to lose weight, or do I want to keep my toes? Do I want to be healthy? And why is it important to be healthy? Because I want to be here for my kids, or I want to be able to do this, or I want to be able to do that. So having a strong why. And then also remembering how good it was, or how good you felt when you were at your best physical self, whatever that, those feelings of what it looked like, what it felt like. I think those are the things that can help you get back on track.
Right.
And we all go through our seasons because different things happen in our lives, and so that can take us off of our point or our game, if you will. Also, I feel that you need to understand that this is a lifestyle journey. So there's going to be some highs and lows, but you want to have more consistency versus the yo-yoing stuff, because your body likes steady state. It doesn't like to be all over the place. And
Right.
so getting back to those basics, know your why. Um, Again, come up with your strategy or your plan and keep it simple. I think when we try to make it too complex, a confused mind does nothing.
That's right.
So we if that's just like ain't doing it. So
100%.
yeah.
So we talked earlier in the podcast about energy levels, and so many women that are struggling with menopause, even men struggling with, menopause, have very low energy levels. What's one natural way that you're like, hey, do this, and this typically will help raise up the energy levels a bit?
I like walking.
Okay.
Getting out walking, particularly if you can get out and walk in the sun so you can capture that vitamin D and spend 20 minutes of that. Um, I hate to exercise. I ain't gonna lie. I
Yeah.
don't like it.
A lot of people feel that way.
I
A
will
lot of
keep
people
it.
don't like it. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like exercising, and
Yeah.
I teach exercises, but I don't like it. But here's the thing. But when I do it, and I am BMCing when I am exercising, just complaining or whining, but I feel so much better afterwards.
Right.
So when I think about, wow, that wasn't so bad, and look how much better I
Right.
feel.
Yeah.
So if you're that type of person like me, I hate to exercise, but you like how you feel, and that gets your energy up, it gets your mood up, it helps your sleep. It also facilitates your weight loss. So there's a lot of benefits. So the benefits outweigh
Things you
the
have to do.
the suck, as my patient
yeah,
would
yeah.
say. You got to embrace the suck.
Right.
So it outweighs that if you can get past the suck till yeah.
Okay. So here's my next question for you. Diet, joint pain.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a correlation?
I feel, yeah.
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 Is it sugar?
A lot of it is sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of
All
it
right.
is. Yeah.
There are, I know a family member doesn't want to be on medication.
Mhm.
All right. I guess almost feels like it's a failure to have to be on meds for menopausal issues. So I guess my question that I would ask for her is, how can I reduce the need for medication by improving my health naturally. Man, I feel like you've said a lot of the things, but do you, let me even ask it to you in this way. Do you feel like there's a lot of people that they fight going on medication for this?
I would say yes, because I was one of those. So um, I, I alluded to this a little bit earlier with the yo-yoing. Died, dieting probably about 4 years ago, right around the COVID. Um, my A1C was high, and I didn't
Okay.
realize it.
Right.
Um, Went in for a checkup, and then it was like 5.7, almost, pre-diabetic, whatever, blah blah
Mhm.
blah. Diabetes runs high in my family.
Okay.
Heart disease, cancer, you name it, heart attacks, the whole whatever. So I was determined I was not gonna continue the statistic in my family. A lot of my family members are on high blood pressure medication, diabetes medicine, et cetera, et cetera. I did not want to continue that statistic. So I talked to the doctor, what are my solutions? And her immediate default was metformin. And I was so offended by her with that. But number one, that was the only thing she came up with. But number two, she was a functional medicine doctor, supposed to promote, a more holistic approach. And this was her number one default for me.
So can you explain what metformin is? Because I'm right. I mean, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, metformin is a common medication that they use to treat diabetes. It's supposed to help regulate your blood sugar, but
Okay.
there's
Gotcha.
there's a gazillion side
Side
effects.
effects. Sure. Gotcha. Okay.
And so I can't remember. She's going down the list of side effects. And keep in mind, this was right in the beginning of COVID. So we were doing a telehealth visit. I couldn't even go into the office.
Right. Gotcha.
And so she's going down the list, blah, 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 blah. And I could remember anything she said except may cause diarrhea. So I said, because I really want to have diarrhea right now.
Yeah.
And she was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, because I really want to have that.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're at risk and da 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 da. And I think you should, yeah, da, da. So I just like, yep, okay. And, sign me up for the little stick things, whatever, and calling the prescription. But I never went to pick up the crap because I was like, I'm not doing this.
Right.
So I knew the benefits of changing my numbers through diet and exercise. So that's exactly what I did. I took a little extreme approach because I was like, I'm going to show her. But I just radically changed my eating. So when I say radically, I literally like flipped the switch. No sugars, no whatever. I just started eating. I went plant-based.
Right.
Um, I got off all processed stuff. I started exercising more consistently.
Right.
Yep. And how I got my exercise in, I would do it with my patients.
Right.
So I've figured out if I saw 10 patients a day to hit 10 squats with 10 patients, that's 100 squats, right?
Right. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And so fast forward, I think within a month or so, I had to follow up with her, did more blood work. My numbers were where they were. I had lost weight. I was feeling better. So then I just continued the plant-based lifestyle journey.
We're going to talk more about the plant-based because I know that's a huge way that you have been able to really navigate through this
Mhm.
menopausal journey. But you just mentioned exercise, and I know you don't like to talk about it a lot.
Right.
But you said I did 10 squats for every single patient. Some days when you're seeing 10 patients, you did 100 squats. Okay. Now, exercising is very for a lot of people that are dealing with the joint pain symptoms of menopause. Even squatting like that is an issue for them.
Right.
So what would you say to them? Okay, they want to exercise, they want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
They can't squat.
Right.
What else can I do?
Okay. Well, can we walk? Can we
Yes.
start walking?
Okay.
And if it's painful to walk on land, do you have access to a pool where you can walk in the pool and exercise in the pool? Or even, you don't have to do squats. I just use that as an example. I did other exercises like with my patients, but I was like, oh, this is one way I can just kind of maximize stuff. Um, Even things you might enjoy do. Dancing,
Right.
something to get the heart rate up a little bit, get the body moving, you know. Um, Walking is kind of my default thing, but yeah, it doesn't have to be something super strenuous as long as you're getting the heart rate up and you're moving.
Right.
And, as you start to feel better and you have less pain, you'll be able to do more. Um, the other big piece of it, people just really need to work on flexibility.
Right.
They're so tight, and the joints are because they're just not moving. So maybe you need to just start with some flexibility work, some
Right.
stretching, some breathing, get some oxygen in before you start going into all this, a rope,
Right.
biking is another great one, swimming, all those kind of things are awesome.
So another question for you is it possible for me to lose weight quickly without risking my health? And
Mhm.
I would love for you to talk about your plant-based approach if people are feeling like you're struggling with exercise.
Mm.
You gave some great examples, but is there ways to help to drop my weight and not put myself in jeopardy?
Yes. So one of my friends that I talk to this a lot about, there's again in the camp, people count macros and cut calories. And so there's so many different approaches. I don't like doing none of that. I don't like to count. I've done the Weight Watchers and all that.
A lot of people are gonna dig.
They gonna hate me.
No. They dig you.
Yeah, no,
They dig you because they're like, listen, listen, I won't do any of that.
I don't want to count nothing. I want to eat.
Yeah.
That's what got me where I am. And Lord, okay, I want to eat. So what I learned, you got to eat to lose.
Right.
And what I mean by that, eat foods that create a calorie deficit in your body if you're into the calorie thing. There's so many foods that are in the plant-based world that you get so much bang for your buck that it creates a calorie deficit. Say, for example, like your beans, your legumes. Well, they're loaded with protein. They
Right.
have fat, but they also have fiber.
Right.
Fiber is what bulks you up. It makes you feel full, cleans your colon, makes you have those good healthy poops.
Yeah.
A lot of us are just full of crap.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally.
Okay.
And that's some of our weight. And
Right.
that's also inflammation.
Right.
If you're not taking the garbage out of your house
Right.
and it's funking up your house, if we're not, since we're over here, if we're not eliminating properly,
Right.
that is backing up in the body and that's creating, inflammation and all kinds of other ish. So, yeah, you have to eat to lose. Eat foods that are high calorie, um, good healthy fats because we do need fats. I'm not of that mindset. No fats. You got to have your fats,
Right.
and that make you feel fuller longer. And eat till you're full. And when you're ready to eat some more, eat some more. And
Right.
then you're gonna find out pretty soon you're losing weight, but you're eating all this food. Now your higher um products, if we're talking about plant based, like your animal products, your dairy, well, they have high fat and high protein, but they don't have high fiber.
Right.
So they're not going to move through your system quick enough, and they're not going to keep you satiated as long as well.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. Um, we've talked about a lot of different solutions, a lot of different things, plant-based, types of foods, exercise, and a lot of great stuff. And I know I hit on this earlier,
Mhm.
but it's balancing it all. I want you to talk right now to that person that's like, I gotta balance my family. I gotta balance my work life.
Mhm.
I gotta balance everything. How do I do all of this
Right.
and make these changes?
Right.
Trying to balance family, work, and my health goals. How do I do it?
It is a tough one. It's a struggle. I'm a born again believer, so I incorporate prayer. Um, number one, I ask the Lord for guidance to help me figure out the things I need to figure out for that day. Um, Definitely if you're a person that needs structure initially, or, some people need it all the way through, plan it out, plan out your meals, schedule the times that gonna eat because you want to set yourself up for success. And so if your family's on board with you, then this is something that you can do together. But sometimes that's not the case. You might be wanting to transition to plant-based and they want steak.
Right.
So you gotta figure that out,
Right. Right.
and be okay with that. And so having a structure where you have that all figured out, well, okay, I'm gonna meal prep. So I make sure that I have what I need to eat for the day. So I'm not in a stress and running out grabbing the Snickers bar or the vending machine. So so it's a little extra work a little bit in the beginning, but then once you got your systems down, it's quick and fast.
Right.
You can, you learn how to have meals ready in 30 minutes or less. That's usually how quick I get, stuff on the table, and it's not like fast food, but it's food that's fast and healthy.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Um, Confidence. Can we talk about building confidence? I think as your body is changing, you're going through a lot of these
Mhm,
different changes, not feeling like you're the person that you were before.
mhm,
And I believe sometimes we lose that self-confidence.
mhm,
Maybe it just could be in the image of what we're seeing in the mirror. Can you talk to that person that is struggling with their self-confidence? How do they build their self-confidence back while they're in middle pause? They're in this midlife. So they're confident to go and do what they need to do for the world.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. That's a tough one. Um, I feel like it's important to do a lot of self-talk. You know, the me that I see when I look in the mirror. I feel like a person has to speak to that image that
Mhm.
they see. Um, when we're in the middle of these things, sometimes it's so hard to see the end result.
Right.
But you got to call those things which be not
Mm.
as though they were,
Yeah.
if we're going to go by the word.
Mhm.
So we have to speak to the things that we want even before we see it. That's part of that faith walk
Right.
in exercising. So in building confidence, and I was thinking about it this morning, um, the most two the most two powerful words, I am.
Mm.
And everything that the Lord created, he spoke into
Mhm.
existence.
Okay. Yeah.
So our words have creative power, whether we believe it or not.
Oh,
That is what it is.
this
So we
you're
can
preaching now. You're preaching now.
well, all right then. So it is, let it come on.
Yeah.
But yes, we speak what we want into existence, and we also speak what we don't want into existence.
Mm.
So, and I know it's hard when you see yourself looking a certain kind of way and you're feeling a certain kind of way, and the enemy is constantly coming at you and saying, "Look at you, you yo-yo die, you failed again, you big, you fat, you ugly, you blah blah blah."
Mhm.
We got to shut all that down because he's a liar
Mm.
and a thief and an enemy, and the truth ain't in him, and he's a destroyer. So while he's over here in this ear, we got to pull up the word. And if you're not a Bible believer, you find positive things that you can say about yourself. So when you hear, "I'm ugly over here, I'm beautiful, I am the apple of the Lord's eye. He saw me and called it good." You got to say those things to yourself. So what the enemy's telling you what you are not, you're over here saying, "I'm beautiful. I'm strong. I'm confident. I'm a winner. I will do this. I can do this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me." You know, the righteous are as bold as a lion. I have boldness. I have no fear. Faith overcomes fear. So, this is how we take our words and speak into existence what we want. Because the moment we start saying, I can't do that. Oh, I ain't this. You affirming.
Mhm.
You're giving power to that. And do you know we do exactly what we said we can't do? So why are we surprised when it didn't happen? We spoke that into existence. Whether we believe it or not, that is what it is because we are created after him. So we have that power and that capability. So it is a challenge, even for myself. It's daily, it's daily work because the enemy, and we talked about this earlier, he's always on his job. He ain't never failing. He brings friends. And so these attacks are always coming at us, seen and unseen. So we got to stay on our game because he's not letting up. And so we can't let up. Every day we got to suit up our armor, our mental armor, our armor that protects our heart. And sometimes I know for me, the biggest enemy outside of the devil is myself because I'm listening to the foolishness he's telling me.
Mhm.
So what I would say to that woman that's out there struggling, you got to make a you got to make a choice. You got to stand on your square. Whose report are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the issue over here
Mhm.
just because you see it in the mirror? That's temporary.
Mhm.
Or are you going to believe the possibilities of what, you know, the Most High say you are? That you're beautiful, you're strong, you're confident. He made you good. You're perfect. You're striving for perfection. You're becoming more complete in him and in your purpose for him because we all were put here for a purpose outside of ourselves. Like you said earlier, we're put here to serve. So, and once we're in, our purpose calling, that also creates confidence because we now, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not over here dilly dallying and messing around and listening to foolishness over here. I'm over here walking in my purpose, my goal.
Mm.
So yes, mind talk. Get your mind right.
Yeah.
Talk to that mind.
Well, I'm gonna take out that piece of the podcast that was about 3 minutes.
Oh,
I'm gonna take that out.
okay.
I guarantee you, like, because I'm sitting with what you just said for me. I guarantee you that's gonna help hundreds of thousands of people, what you just said. If you came here to my studio
Mhm.
for us to do the interview for that 3-minute clip, it is gonna talk to millions of women,
Wow. All praises.
okay? It's gonna talk to millions of women. It just and by the way, I'm sorry, I know this is a podcast, but, like, I'm sorry, like, I felt that. I felt that for me.
Mhm.
I guess maybe I don't know if I'm struggling with middle pause, but I felt like that was for me. I feel like so many people like, "Oh my gosh, that was for me.
Yeah.
That was for me." There's so much self-talk that's going on. Doesn't matter what level you get to, Jeanette. Okay, there's self-talk and everything you said is so true. It's the enemy that is
Mhm.
putting this, and then we're usually second in command to the enemy, and allowing these things to get in play. I'm just telling you right now, I'm cutting that out. So okay, I'll give you credit for it, but it's all my
Oh,
papa.
yeah, yeah. Well, I take no credit for that.
Okay.
Truly, the Lord,
No,
'cause
no, and
I
I'm
was
Lord speaking.
speaking
I
to
know
me
that. I
too
know that.
because,
I know that.
yeah, no, I know, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we are.
Yeah.
We're in a war.
We are in a war. We are. Okay, I've got to ask you two more questions. Is that
Okay.
okay? Um. So okay, let's just say we have people that are listening like, all right, I really I do intend on making these choices.
Mhm.
But I also have the family pressure,
Yeah.
the social events, this, that, da 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 da. So kind of can you explain how you would give them advice on navigating the social pressures, the family pressures in order to make their life better?
Oh, Lord. Yes, Lord. Because we are in the social season. We just got through Halloween. Now it's, so called Thanksgiving. And so all the way up,
Mhm.
it's a cycle of
Right.
gatherings. Um, a lot of times your family and even your friends aren't going to understand because there's so much emotion surrounding eating, in gatherings. We eat when we're happy, we eat when we're sad, we eat when we're mad, all of that. So what I would say is you don't want to remove yourself from social gatherings unless you feel like it's just going to be too much pressure because they'll be like, oh, come on, eat this tater salad. You know, girl, it's good. My mom made this. And then next thing you know, you over in the tater salad. Yeah. Okay. So what I suggest when you're going around family and friends, you take things that you can bring that you know you can eat at the gathering and share with the family and make not, try not to make a really big deal out of it because then they just be ribbing you for that. Ah, Lord, that ain't got no flavor. What's that salt and pepper in that? You know how folk be doing. So you just you make things if you're going to Thanksgiving dinner and you want to be there with family and friends. There's several ways you can handle it. You can take things that most of the time people are bringing food to share anyway. So you make several things that you can eat and share, or make things that are very similar that's going to help you stay on your plan. Like if it's you know, a salad or whatever, there's things that are going to help you stay on the plan, still be able to partake in social gatherings and not feel I have to stay away or I can't be a part of that. So that's what I would do. You can eat before
Mm-hmm.
so that when you get there, you're not as hungry.
Right.
You're just snacking on appetizers. So there's a lot of different ways you can handle that and still be a part of the gathering and not feel like I've gotta dip or
Yeah. I feel like you've given so much amazing advice and counsel to 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 people that are going through middle pause.
middle pause.
Right.
I'm taking that one.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm taking that 3 minutes.
Okay.
So okay. All right. And I really do think that people have listened to this podcast and they're like, okay, I want to make changes. But you know what people are mostly afraid of? So let's just hit the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
What if I fail again? What if I fail again? And how do I make sure that this time is different? Because the majority of people that are listening have tried one of the things that you've recommended,
Mm-hmm.
possibly, and they've fallen off the wagon. So now they want to know, how can I make sure that this time is different? Well, what would you tell
Definitely a little bit of self-reflection, looking at where the hiccups came in, where you did fall off. Is there a pattern to that?
them?
What can you do different with that? Sometimes it's again, um, you put yourself in situations where you kind of self-sabotage if you're not emotionally strong enough to stave off that, the self-sabotage. So it may be evaluating that. Um, the other piece of that is you may need an accountability partner or a group of people who are on the journey with you because we tend to do things very well for other people or when we're in a group or if somebody's like, hey, I'm be calling you at 5 o'clock to see if you had your 4 glasses of water today or whatever. And you're like, it's 4:48 and I've only drank one. So that kind of thing. So I feel like having accountability through either group, people who understand and get you that can love you enough and support you, but also help you like, hey, okay, we got to get back on track.
Right.
So that piece of it. And then also a little bit of introspection or self-reflection about, okay, what can I do differently? And again, just giving yourself some grace. Gotta give us, oh my God, we're so hard on ourselves. Ugh, because this cat over here telling us, oh, fell again.
Right.
Give yourself some grace, knowing that if you fall down, a righteous man falls down 7 times, but he gets back up. You got to get back up again.
Right.
Got to get back up again.
Wow.
Got to get back up again and keep moving forward because this is a lifestyle journey. It's not a destination.
Destination, yeah.
We're on a journey.
Wow. You need to do more podcast episodes. it's all right. I'm gonna end it, but I'm not. Hold on, I gotta just say one thing first. It's like, this is the reason why I do this,
Mhm.
and part of the reason. And by the way, I'm even this studio. I'm up on my lease. Just letting you all know, podcast. I'm gonna still have my podcast no matter what, but I am up on my lease, and I'm really conflicted
Mhm.
on what I do. Because initially as a team, we decided that like we're getting out of this office
Yeah.
and we're gonna go virtually. You see, I have all the homes and whatnot, so we can do things there. But part of me feels like I love this is the only thing that I want to keep out of this whole office. It's this. And you want to know what I want to keep it for? Because I believe it gives a platform to people that already have the blessing. Sometimes just putting you in a room like
Mhm.
this and just letting people that don't usually speak,
Right.
they can find their voice.
Right.
I hope today you realize you found your voice.
I believe I have. I didn't even realize I had that much in me.
Yeah,
But
you
wow.
really do. You really
Wow.
do. And so anyways, this has been fantastic. This has been one of my favorite because I feel like I'm really thinking I got menopause because there's a lot of things. I'm like, I'm moody, I'm irritable, I'm cranky, can't lose weight. And I'm here like, damn, this helped me out. So that's why I'm gonna call it menopause. All right. So, anyways, I'm no, really, I'm
Mhm.
I'm being dead serious now.
Yeah.
You've helped so many. I know you've helped me, and I know it's gonna allow me to help more people. And I just want to thank you for coming on. This is fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for having. You have
Yeah.
helped me as well. So I really appreciate the
Uh,
opportunity to
yeah,
be here. Thank you so much.
this has been fantastic. Thank you.
That was easy.